Hey everybody, my name is Suede, and today we're doing a VOD review of the game of Future Start I played last night. So, Future Start is one of the forum ladder mods for Civ 3, and yeah, I've kind of prefer modern to it. They scratch the same itch in a lot of ways in terms of being able to use bombard and submarines and all that junk. But I do occasionally jump in for a game of Future, and I'm pretty good at it. So this game was a bit of a mess. I made a lot of mistakes, so I'm gonna have a fun time correcting myself on them, and maybe you guys can learn a thing or two. So right here we have Special Forces res. We have rubber and aluminum. It's a good setup. We don't have any bonus food. Now on its own, I'd say there's a pretty average start, but with the two-turn anarchy, I do like Mongols too. I would say that's quite a solid start here. Again, no bonus food. I scout northeast with the scout. What I want to do is I want to walk there. It's good to be coastal, more so than in any other mods. Yeah, do not walk one to be coastal in MPT. That is absolutely troll. But in future, there's a lot of benefits to being coastal that you will see later on here. So that's what I do. In future, like in modern, you start with an explorer, so you get to decide where to put your cities. In future, it's really limited. The vision you get. I'm expansionist, so I do get the extra scout, but yeah, like you don't get full 360-degree vision. I suspected there might be some bonus food north of me, but it's like, don't want to ruin the hut, right? And huts are very important. Popping is very important in future, much more so than modern. In modern, you get 2 settlers at the start. In future, you get 1. So getting a second settler early on is very impactful. Here, I've already made a mistake. So I shouldn't have walked the worker to the rubber. The idea there is you get extra commerce from the rubber, and then it's a guaranteed shield. If I chop the one right there that I just had my mouse cursor over, I would maybe get the shield. I would maybe not get the shield. Probably not. So the idea was I wanted the shield, and I didn't think it would impact my growth at the start here, but it totally did, actually. So what I did is I forgot to count that I didn't get 2 food when I moved, right? I thought, okay, I'll do 2, 2, 2, and then 3, 3, doesn't matter. I'd have 12 food instead of 10, right? The extra 2 food wouldn't get you to 10 food faster. But instead it's going to be, you're going to see I'm going to get 2, 2, and then I would have had the opportunity to get 3. So I would have grown to size 2 a turn sooner, and I think I would have grown to size 4 in 4 turns instead of, or in 3 turns instead of 4. So it actually slowed me down by 2. It actually really impacted my growth here. So these little tiny decisions with worker moves, more so than more so than any other mod, it's impactful in future. So I popped a settler. I'm expansionist. So the rules for popping settlers, the way it works is you just have to have an average or below average number of cities. And everybody had planted. I checked with the F key and everybody had planted. So that's what I went for. And with cities, it's the same rules, except you can't be within like a certain minimum distance of your other cities. But the thing about settlers, cities. Damn. Oh, okay, no, I popped the settler first. Sorry. So the thing about popping cities is you can have a settler active or in construction for cities. It's just with popping settlers that there's that restriction. With cities, you just have to have below average. But I was below average because I hadn't planted the settler yet. So if you do pop a settler and you are an expansionist civs, because only expansionist civs can pop cities, consider just walking it a bit if you have somewhere better to go. That way you have the chance of double popping. Here it wasn't too hard to double pop. But yeah, this is going to be an extremely explosive start. Got a lot of res. You see the cow and the deer here. Again, I missed that stuff, but I'll at least get the deer on the border expand. And check out how I'm getting 14 gold per turn right away. Very, very strong. Of course, cap growing in 3. It would be growing in 2 if I hadn't messed up that stuff at the start. But you get what you get, I guess. I think my logic, one of my pieces of logic was that because I had the 2-turn anarchy, I'd get the border expand very quickly. And that would give me the deer. I don't know. I might not have even known about the deer at the time I made the decision. Yeah, it's inexcusable. I should know better. Anyway, I didn't coordinate much with my team. I don't know if it's the new computer or the future or what, or having so much stuff to control, but I found myself a little overwhelmed this game. Not too much with my units and stuff, but more so like I couldn't coordinate with my team. Oh, I did also, like when you don't have maps, then like everything they're saying is so abstract. Once you get Khan, it's a lot easier. Okay, yeah. So of course, in modern, you start with the granary in your cap. In future, you don't. You have to do your own granary. So again, getting the granary earlier makes a huge bit of difference in terms of how fast your build goes. Of course, I popped twice. I still have the option of getting gold from huts, right? Seems like I've got the explorer and the scout and the king, right? With your king, if you're expansionist, you can pop the huts. With the explorer, with the non-expansionist civ, no, because then you might get barbs. Expansionist civs can't get barbs, but non-expansionist definitely can. And popping barbs, like if I get barbs from that hut you see in the southeast right there, right now that'd be devastating. They just walk at my cap, and then it's so hard to get units out. In modern doesn't have this issue. Like modern, everybody's expansionist. So you can pop with your king, or if you get barbs super early, because they do spawn a bit earlier in modern, you can just buy a militia. Militia are 20 shields. Here, the cheapest thing is a rifle, and the rifle is just absolutely useless. And it's 40 shields. And you just have less shields to work with in future at the start of the game, too. So I'm doing worker in Kazan, worker in Tattoo. That is correct here. Speeds up my growth significantly. I see some people do this where they get the pop and it's like 4 tiles away and they immediately just start doing gran and they have no worked tiles. It's terrible. Like having 2 irrigated tiles in my second city doubles my growth, right? That does the same thing as a granary and Tattoo. So getting the granary doesn't do much if you don't have the worked tiles to back it up. Yeah, I get the border. Oh, I actually do grow in 3 here. That's not so bad. Okay, yeah. So I was right about that one thing. Yeah, so I only really slowed myself down by 1 turn here, but that's still really devastating. I also do the underrush on the granary. Probably could have done that a little bit better. I didn't account for the extra 2 shields I get from the deer next turn. So these underrushes are important, right? So let's say I rush Galleon, then switch to Granary before the Galleon finishes. I'd have 25 shields in the box, and if I have 5 shields coming in per turn, that's perfect, but I'd only have 4. I had like 2 or 3 here, or 3 here. 3 and then 4. 4 the next turn once they get the border expand. So what I should have done is, like, before I grew, I should have rushed a 20 shield building if I had the gold for it. I might not have had the gold for it at the time. So 20 shield would be Courthouse in future. Believe Sam Missile Battery. Play a lot more modern than future, so I don't know the underrushes as perfectly. But yeah, Courthouse definitely, if you're out of war. If you're in wartime, it's a little tricky. I think offshore platform, because I'm militaristic in my cap, that would have worked. A little optimization here. Get myself 1 extra gold. If you have extra time within a turn, you might as well. So, in Kazan, you're going to see me road the horses. Oh, I see the borderline outline of Senjay. So Senjay is like a skilled player from the old ladder who might be a little rusty. So I'm confident that I can beat him with the start here. Or that's how I'm feeling right now, at least. But he will put up a bit of a fight. I do need to watch out for clever plays from him. So I do need to scout him. Yeah, so you see he's ahead of me in growth. He also had a 2-turn anarchy, and he had bonus food. So despite the fact that I have these 2 extra pops, he will actually get to draft sooner than I will, and that might cause some problems. But at the moment, I'm not too worried about that. Trying to work my way towards those cows, or I'm going for a chop here, actually. Yeah, I already have the 1 per turn growth, right? I've got 3 tiles with 3 food per turn. With the granary, that'll give you 1 per turn growth. So I look over there and I see, oh wait, holy shit, I can do a Keshik. So I was initially planning on doing, like, I was going to irrigate the horse and then chop the granary in Kazan. I'm like, fuck that, I want to rush this guy. Especially with this terrain. So the terrain had some mixed use for me, like all those mountains and hills. But obviously good for the Keshik. And yeah, so it pretty much stops him. He can't road at me because of the terrain. It's like he's not going to road over the hill and then over the mountain, or over 2 hills and then over a mountain just to get to me. No. So it pretty much guarantees I can get up into his face. And when you have aluminum, that's very good. So cruise missiles, even more so than in modern, cruise missiles are overpowered. If you just, they trade, as long as you kill the things you're going for, you will always trade efficiently with cruise missiles. That is not true in modern, and quite efficiently too. Like, it is 30 shields for a cruise missile that will kill, like, I don't know, maybe if the enemy has a barracks, which they never do, you'll kill 2 reg partisans in a draft in an 8-player game, I think, with 1 cruise missile that costs 30 shields. So it's like 110 shields of value or something like that in exchange for 30 shields. Even more efficient against planes. Yeah, there's caveats on that. Like, because if you don't kill the units, they just heal up, right? And it does splash damage, kind of. So, like, it does like a mix between dividing the dividing the damage between their units and keeping it. But that does like a little bit of concentration too. So here I use this to get the market. Yeah, 10 shields from the chop and then 5 shields per turn. I'm roading to my cap just to make sure I have that connection there. Now this is tough. So you see, the last place I frickin' scouted was the oil, and he's got 2 workers heading towards that oil, and he's got his king on top of the oil. So I cannot block. Normally what you'd want to do is sit on the oil with your explorer. I can't do that because he saw it first. You could also like block the tile where you're like, if I blocked the desert tile, he'd have to go around, but I couldn't do that. And he also scouted my Keshik. So this is bad situation. I considered going for a play where I just attacked the Keshik. Yeah, you see that there a bit. But I wanted to keep my options flexible. He's still size 5. Right? And you can like double move in before they can draft. Like, drafting, it's kind of slow. And with the double move, you don't even have to, I don't even have to declare war. I get an auto declaration of war. Yeah, if you buffer numpad moves, that will automatically declare war. Like, if you just attack something adjacent to you, you have to do the declaration of war prompt. It's like, do you want to declare war on this person? That slows you down a bit, and maybe he'd have time to draft. But you don't. I don't have to do that here because you're gonna see I'm gonna be like right within range to do the buffer, like the 8/8 on the numpad, so north, and because it's buffered, the game doesn't declare war for you. Or so I guess what I should have done here is I should have sat on the spices and blocked him from coming. So what he ended up doing is joining the worker. So I kind of wanted that in a way because it slowed down his oil, but I think I could have just walked into his cap. But I don't want to like 1v1. I don't want some bullshit where I have to 1v1 the king with the Keshik. It's like a 50-50, which if you're any other player, that's very good, but I'm confident I can kill him in the long run here. A little worried about that oil and what he can do. Yeah, I guess at this point I should mention the oil is really, really rough for me because I got such a good start, but I got a lot of pops towards him. I was slow on growth in my cap, and yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be late on the draft, and he can just heli my pops. So I'm gonna be a pain in the ass to hold them. At least the Keshik provides some threat to a few different places. So yeah, here I forced him to join the worker. And that actually delayed his oil by a turn, I believe. Yeah, you see that, he already has the draft. So I stay out of range, I don't want him attacking into me. I actually did, after Marketplace, I went to Wartime and I did Airport. My idea was he's going to have bombers and helis on me. I'm going to need some anti-air. I might as well make them veteran anti-air units. It's cheap and it's good value because you're militaristic, it's half price. And I didn't really have anything else to do. There's not a lot of good units you can build in future. So yeah, he's on one city, right? That's the downside, that he can't like rush. He can't like get past gold by an ally or something and rush a bunch of shit. He's stuck. It's a massive loss of tempo. Like, he loses 2 population and at least 2 turns of production if he does settler. So he stays on 1 city, and then the situation just gets worse. Jesus, my fucking mouse there. I'm on the new computer when I casted this because I wanted the HD. I almost didn't get that increase in happiness, which would have really screwed me here. Yeah, this is pretty far to take the settler out of Kazan, but I want the city as soon as possible. And if I do a city out of the south, or sorry, I don't want a city that is within bombing or heli range of him. So I look, yeah, I kind of wanted to bait him onto the volcano. This is 1.4 speed, by the way. So like the little pauses there, they last longer than it looks. I'm also trying to keep Tattoo and Kazan low pop in case he takes them with his heli. Yeah, I got a bunch of gold I can't really spend. Maybe I should, but if I go for the aluminum earlier, like what can I do with aluminum at this range? Okay, yeah, so he goes for this. So my reaction, get the defensive bombard. I don't want him fucking shit-checking my city. And fucking, I try to do the stack move to save both of them. I thought he would go for the one within my land first. At least I get his oil, right? So the thing is, because I got 3 cities and he has 1, I am just fucking printing food here relative to him. So I can afford to replace these workers, but losing 2 workers here is a pain in the ass. Khan, did I mean? I think maybe my brain's doing other things right now. Yeah, like I start to like worry a bit. So yeah, he can only draft 1 per turn. He did also like go to try to kill my Keshik, right? So that delays his tempo. He can't like get a million Taus on me. Yeah, I don't want him to heli me again like into Kazan, but also I don't want to lose the Keshik, so I'm kind of splitting my focus there at end of turn. And right now, I had the opportunity to go get that worker, but I didn't, and that's going to cost me. So I tried a radar tower. I clicked the button there. You saw me click the button. It didn't. There's no radar tower, right? And maybe that made the difference between losing the combat. But I have the extra workers, so that means I can insta-road the aluminum. He's importing stuff into the city. I'm saying in this exchange, I do pretty good. Because right now in Krakaram, I can just set up the cruise missile, right? And then as long as he's like concentrating those units on that airbase, I can just cruise them out and kill them. The issue is if he starts splitting them up, right? Normally you wouldn't want to split up your units because you want them together for defensive bombard. And because if they RD you down, it's like kind of coin flippy. Or in fact, it's maybe even favored for the enemy depending on the terrain. But I don't want that. I don't want to be taking risks where he has like a 37% chance of winning the combat, like a 1 health unit against my 2 health unit. And then if he does win, he auto promotes, right? Double chance of promotion, and then draft units already have very high chances of promotion. So militaristic civs, 100% chance of promotion if you win combat versus a human player and not a barbarian. So yeah, I don't want to take any risks. So because of that, I like the idea that he keeps his units together where I can cruise them out. And I disorder again. So this game is a bit of a mess for me. You can see I'm making a lot of mistakes. But I think this one works out in the sense that I still get the cruise missile next turn. I'm not sure how I do it. I might just do the math or pass over a tile from Kazan. Yeah, so I had the chance to like take the draft out of there, and I could have doubled onto the worker. But I was scared that he would like airdrop my city, Kazan, if I left it empty. Then it's like, okay, maybe I don't leave it empty. But then he could double onto my fucking mobile SAM. Oh, I just buy the cruise missile. That's what it is. Yeah, I had the gold on hand. I needed that debt, right? Because if he gets his heli in there, he probably doesn't want to. Because like eventually, I can cruise that out. And weirdly, so air units in cities take extra damage. Air units and air bases cannot be bombarded at all. Yeah, take it. Yeah, air units in cities cannot be, or on air bases cannot be bombarded at all. So like I said, you trade really efficiently with the, if he tried to like stack units in that airbase, including air units, eventually, this is not the best team play here. Eventually I'd get rid of the airbase. This is not the best team play because I didn't say I wanted the out of war, I just took it, but, and I think this out of war was actually shit for me. Yeah, like, I thought I could maybe do something in my cap, but it's like, what would I want? Actually, I think the Colosseum and cap might have been a good play here. Just so I could draft more. Yeah, I should have just kept drafting. I thought everything was cleaned up, right? Like, how could he possibly harm me here? If he airdrops the units, I can just artillery and then attack. If he airdrops a stack, I can cruise missile it. I have a cruise missile coming next turn. What on earth is the possible threat? So I moved down onto the volcano. I thought you got double moves on the volcano. I guess that's wrong. I almost killed him too with the defense bonus. So if I get that, I get my golden age, and that's devastating for him. A bit of an early golden age, but generally in future, that's not bad. It's almost never bad to get an early golden age in future. It's only bad if you have to like invest things into getting it, right? Because normally like you have to like pay for your ally to buy a flak or something. Yeah. Do I have 20 shields per turn? Oh no, it's just 10, right? Yeah, I was a little scared of being bombed there. But yeah, like in this case, it would have been good because I would have had to invest nothing, and yeah. It's like, even though Golden Age is super impactful, but you can just, and you'll be left without a Golden Age late if the game goes late. Usually the game doesn't go late, and if you don't have your Golden Age, you just lose all those shields and commerce. But if it does go late, during your Golden Age, you can just build a factory and a nuke plant and some wonders if you're anticipating that it will go late. Got a nice underrush here. Yeah, I was asking for a lot of stuff here. They're alone on an island together. You saw them bickering about huts a bit earlier. I could see why they were, because they're really stepping on each other's toes here. Looks like at least Bob got a pop, though. So Granary. So if I went wartime here, I wouldn't have been able to do that, and I do want to go wartime. I really should have done Colosseum. I just needed bodies, right? Like, having a vet special forces is cool, but I could just use like a draft. If I just like walk 2 draft tiles, that would eventually do the trick, and I could use Keshiks for extra mobility. I'm actually really liking Mongols as a civ. I think next to Japan, they might be my favorite. Expansionist, really good on Pangaea. Militaristic is lovely on Archipelago, because it gives you cheap harbors and cheap offshores, in future specifically at least. Checking the range on the helicopter. I probably could have got that. Yeah, if I took his Explorer early, he couldn't even heli. I guess he could recon for the... Yeah, but like his ability to helicopter me would at least be delayed by a turn, because he wouldn't have vision of where he was dropping. But the early pressure with the whatever is so... With the Keshik, so good. Yeah, I also actually thought he was... Here, we'll come back to that, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm doing in Kazan. I guess I just want the thread onto the oil. Yeah, because if he goes bomber doesn't do much because I've got a vet Sam. So I don't think he would go bomber. And if he doesn't go bomber, I can just like hover with the Keshik southwest of Kyoto, threatening his oil, and he has to commit units to guarding his oil and guarding the road and guarding his workers and stuff. Yeah, so here the idea is, if I if his king is in cap, I don't know how this didn't work. So at the same time, he airbased here. So his helicopter was not there. I thought I'd at least get his helicopter with this. I 2 cruises to the face. I don't know how much he had there. Like, I checked with the Explorer, and he's got, like, a reg. I think maybe he just moved that in. But I didn't see any reduction in... So population went down because he drafted. There was no, oh, we bombarded his citizens. Normally you get that flag if that happens. So yeah, none of that. And yeah, I didn't see any buildings dying, so I don't get it. Like, I guess maybe I killed some Taus, but... Yeah, maybe he was just drafting every turn, and I just killed a bunch of drafts. Yeah, but like 2, given how much he... I guess he hasn't spent that much on me. Yeah, he's only really airdropped 1 Tau, yeah. Look at this, yeah. So I insta-move into the city because I'm worried about my city dying, like... So it disorders my city because it cuts off my high commerce tile, the river tile. Splits his fucking shit. Jesus Christ. So I don't get the special forces. Yeah, if I just guarded the worker... Yeah, like, I thought he'd attack into me here. So here, I don't fuck up with the radar tower. I at least get the kill here. Thank God. But now he's on my aluminum. And here's where I make a massive, massive mistake. Sorry, the thing I wanted to mention earlier, I thought he was being dumb by walking the worker, because I could just retake the worker. But then I lose the battle, right? Because I lost the battle, I didn't have the option to retake. I was scared of his threat. And getting the worker back would be big. Yeah, I think I was going to use the Keshik to go find the worker. Maybe that was the idea with the Keshik. So Heli's there, he's got 1 unit in. That's fixed at least. Yeah, I guess with my cap, I was worried about, like, someone, like, sub-cruising, like... if, like, Halu or someone out of vision comes with some sub-cruiser too, then he empties out my cap, and then... Okay, here I attack with the fucking special forces. Don't get the bombard, and then I lose the 50-50 or whatever. Or probably a lot more than 50-50. What is it? 18 attack against 14 defense, and then 2. Then I can retreat 2. Probably like 63 or something. It's probably a bad move. I should have just held on to it. Yeah, at this point I'm like, fuck, I should have, yeah, the mistake I made was I should have queued up a fucking sub-cruise. Several sub-cruises, right? But you don't get the wartime bonus, and that's why I didn't do it. Yeah, if I just did one cruise, sorry, not sub-cruise, just a regular cruise. 1 cruise, 30 shields, I could buy it right now. I've got the gold on hand. Buy the cruise, get rid of him, and then I can rehook the aluminum. Here I'm in trouble, right? So I don't know what happened, but yeah, so I see that he put the unit into the helicopter. I know he's dropping me end of turn, yeah. So this is dumb. I shouldn't have put the artillery. It was just a reaction for me. I've actually made this mistake before, reinforcing with artillery instead of with units. The idea is that he would instantly die to the bombard, but with just 2 health on the defending unit, before the bombard even kicks in, he could kill my unit if he got lucky. And then the risk is that if I get... if he gets the attack off before I enter the city, then there's no bombard at all. I think the logic... Did I already have the artillery highlighted or something? Was that what it was? I'm not sure. Anyway, so I get his airbase. I believe I kill his helicopter with that. Which is kind of odd. Because, like, helicopters have the radar ability, do they not? Like, he should be able to see my Keshik. Or did I double onto it? Let's go back and look at that. That was an intense turn. So, end of turn. Yeah, like, he should see that I'm right next to him. So I put that there. No, I actually went out of my way to activate the I had something else activated. I went out of my way to activate the artillery. That's pretty bad of me. He's doing Marine and Cap. Maybe I could have tried, like, if I RD'd him down to 1 health, then maybe, I'm not sure if that radar tower is close enough. Right, because if I attack from east of him, that is technically within the 2-tile range of the radar tower, but the tile I'm attacking onto is not within that range. I'm not sure how it works with that. Maybe someone should run some tests or something. But yeah, like, if I get him down to 1 health, fundamentally, I should just be able to get him down with the Marine. I'm not sure if I considered that. Marines are cheaper than Taus, too. But if I lose that, I'm in shit. So I believe I asked for oil. And yeah, it was delayed by a turn. I'm not sure if that has already happened yet, or if it's going to be like 1 more turn. I'm just baiting him here, right? He can't see the empty cities, thank God. If he wants to get off of there and give me my aluminum back, he can go ahead. I don't mind losing the worker for that. Oh yeah, in that exchange I lost another worker. So I was losing a lot of workers here to him. Carlot's up there. It's pretty much a 1v1 here. I haven't commented too much on the map state. Weirdly, Ironclad has dropped in the future rankings, so we ended up with a situation where he is on my team. Because Hallow and me were the captains. Yeah, in case he does the end of turn move, I want to get onto the aluminum instantly. Not taking the bait, that's okay. So I have 3... Yeah, I do the road start of turn, just in case some bullshit happens. I thought he's at 1 health, so he's just gonna go for the worker. No. I mean, it would have put in I would have had to guard those 2 cities in a hurry, but at this point I got oil, and because this has been delayed, I now have 3 pre-builds. It actually worked okay. I don't even think... Yeah, I would have probably had to spend some gold in Karakoram, which I saved by waiting the extra turn. And now in Tattoo and Kazan, I have perfect pre-builds. And I just try because of that 1 health, and fucking no. Maybe I should have tried with a Keshik for the Golden Age there. Yeah, so I tried to grow my cap, and my production is increasing my cap. You see that? That's good. So I use the police officer here to get the 5th shield for the underrush. Really important. Yeah, I go back to drafting. The most efficient time to be drafting is at size 7, because the growth from size 6 to size 7, if you have a granary, it only costs 5 food. From 7 to 8, if you have a granary, it costs 15, and then after that it's 10 until you get to size 12. So yeah, like you can see how drafting a lot at size 7, at least in terms of food, is the most efficient thing. And that's the reason why I wanted to grow my cap, right? To have a bigger cap, more food, more population, more production. But yeah, I guess technically I should wait till end of turn, but I don't want to fuck around in case... like, I want my workers on that aluminum. If I do an end of turn, then, like, maybe... I don't know. So this is something very pro that I'm doing in Tabriz. What I'm doing is I'm keeping the city at 1 pop. So because I can't guard that city, I just keep it constantly at 1 population. So if it gets taken, it gets erased instead of captured. So this is something very important I do. I've learned this from Modern too. But yeah, keeping cities at 1 pop is very, very valuable. An enemy having a city on you is really, really dangerous. They can do a bunch of different stuff with that. If you just deny them that opportunity, and workers are good. Like, you want to have workers. It's very safe and allows you to do more dangerous things. Like, if I wasn't sure that I could do that, like if I couldn't keep the city at size 1, I just wouldn't plant that city at all. So I get a bunch of workers out of it, which is better than what I would have gotten if I planted anywhere else. Even somewhere arguably more safer. Although there's not really any good spot that's... Yeah, unless I plant straight in the tundra, anything is going to be 1 off the coast or coastal. Okay, so I have cleared him out of my land. I'm rehooking this aluminum. I got his... for some reason... Yeah, okay, that was a drop end of turn. So we need to do a reload. I'll skip over that here. Here's the end of turn. So yeah, I've got him out of my land. I've rehooked my aluminum. I have 3 bombers now to work with, which forces a response from him. Like, he can't just, like, take 3 bombing runs per turn. He has to do anti-air. Probably several anti... Like, he can't just kill that with 1 SAM. He needs to use at least 2 units. He finally has a second city out. So he never rehooked his oil, actually, which was strange. But he had 3 workers, I believe, towards the beginning. One of them planted that airbase up north. One of them colonied the oil, and then one of them was joined to the city because of the threat from my Keshik. So despite all the mistakes I made here, you can say that I'm doing a lot of things right, and that is like, I'm benefiting from these things as the game progresses. So like that city, the cow city of Almeric, that was a little risky at the start, right? I could have focused more on units and focused more on the 1v1, but that pays off with the workers from Tabriz. All of the workers that are coming out of Tabriz are the fault of Almeric. I did the granary in Almeric too. Yeah, I'm not sure. Was that during the outer war I got with Bob when I first contacted him? Probably, yeah. So yeah, I'm not letting my macro slip here. I finally have like a tolerable number of units to defend myself, although my west is still a little bit vulnerable, and I don't have too much map knowledge. But I'm just banking on the fact that they think that I'm too strong, kind of bluffing a bit here. And that if they do stake stuff, that's okay. So he has a frickin' flak. A vet flak too. I guess he went barracks? Yeah, so I guess cutting off the... Yeah, this explorer is pissing me off. Yeah, in situations where you have no 2-move units and the enemy is explorer dancing, it's one of my pet peeves. I like playing knowing that they can't see shit. So at this point I realized, wait, the iron's just right there. I think right at the start I noticed, oh, I've got I've got railroads. But then later what I thought was, wait, hold up. The coal is next to him. So I kind of abandoned that idea because, like, yeah, I got like 3 irons and 1 coal, but he's like, he cannot, and he has a flak in his cap too. Either that or he decided to move his flak into his cap and then got really good. Yeah, and then he gets the interception too. This is bad RNG for me. There's like a 1 in 5 chance that like a flak will be shot down or something. It's not very good. And the fact he got it on the first try, I don't think he had 2 flaks. I think he just moved, when I damaged it with the artillery, he just moved into his cap. So that was a little frustrating. But I did get some good bombing runs. I got his Oasis, I got the spices, and I got the road under the airbase. It doesn't get cratered because of the airbase itself. But it's still pretty good. Because it's not like he has workers here. He maybe has 1 that he's using to road up to Osaka. So at this point, I'm getting pretty confident, and my idea is that I can just kill him, and then I'm going to pre-build the factory and cap. So I like to think of players as being locked or unlocked. Like, you're locked if you're in a 1v1 with someone near you, you are locked, right? Because at any point he could just buy an airport in his northern city and then just start bombing me or something like that. Just him existing in that position on the map is very dangerous for me. So the longer I wait to kill him, the more danger I'm in. But I still don't want to delay my factory. Like, I see the good pre-build on the factories and the battleship, so I go for it. Seemed greedy at the time. I thought maybe I'd be better off doing something conservative. But in this case, it paid off. Yeah, so we're going for the rails here, like I mentioned. Looks like he can't contest me on the coal. And yeah, I've expanded towards the iron. Almeric has just been pumping and pumping here. Cool thing about Keshiks is they can retreat too. Like, you might think if you get the Atago, of course I'm going to win that, even if the Keshik's on like a hill or something. But no, then they just run away, and then you left your worker unguarded, and they attack the worker or whatever. It's really annoying. So I consider going for, yeah, like, I thought like I could bomb out the guy on the, but he puts another guy there. So I'm like, okay. He did have the anti-air, but I was banking on the fact that probably the anti-air is damaged, because SAMs in future are a coin flip, right? You are as likely to win intercepting with a regular SAM as you are to lose, and he has no airport, so it's not even like a veteran. So probably, if he intercepted me, he's at low HP, he probably wants to heal first, so I banked on the fact that it would give me 2 turns to... sorry, 2 turns to bomb freely. Now, at this point, I probably should have realized, wait, a 2 health... So Taos are 14 defense in this, I believe, and Flax are like 5 or 6 defense. So even with the +2 health, that means he doesn't have any drafts in there. He's also size 6, so he doesn't get the defense bonus. I could have just cruised him twice, and at the very least I would have emptied out his cap and maybe killed some units. His king, oh yeah, his king's in there, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, that should have been really obvious to me how weak he was. But I wanted to be able to take the cap in case it was empty. So I go for this here, it fucking pays off. I get the Golden Age. So that was like what, like a 34 or something % chance with the 1 health guy on the forest. But I do want it. I want the Golden Age, and I thought that's worth it. Oh, I disordered again. Again, sloppy game for me. It felt really sloppy at the time. Now that I'm watching it back, it's like, yeah, of course I got this under control. But at the time, it felt like, oh my god. And despite like double popping, I'm also like asking for a lot of shit for my team. Yeah, at this point, I think I see the double Sam. I think I made him disorder, though. I don't know how I did that. Oh, end of turn, yeah, Keshik onto the spices. Spices are high commerce, that does it, yeah. So the barbs here are really fucking annoying, because I don't want to devote more than 1 mech to cleaning them up, but I don't want to lose my iron colony. Yeah, I can't believe I disordered my cap like a 3rd time here. But I get the out of war, and I'm going to get my factory. And because I have the Golden Age, I got a lot of gold coming in too. So my plan here is going to be is, once I hook the rails, I can just rail up all my core cities, and then I can, because cruise missiles are so stupidly cheap, right? Very easy to use the wartime bonus to get them quickly. I can just rail up my cities and buy like a round of cruises or pre-build a round of cruises and then kill them instantly. Even though I have like 3 cruise missiles on hand, I wanted to be sure, I guess. Like I tried like the double cruise play early on, and I got hammered for that. Yeah, like I select that, and then I don't go for the play. Like I even like hover over the bombard, but I decide against it, I guess. Get more gold off the barbs. That's really good. Yeah, there's a lot of advantage to having Keshiks. Your units are so scarce, they're so expensive in this. And then having more movement, effectively, you're like it's like having 2 units often. Okay, so now I colony the iron. And now I can rail. So priority is railing towards the frontline city, because I want all these cruises to be cruising him. Even use these. Rail up. I think if I moved my workers differently, I don't think it would have mattered too much. But yeah, at this point, like my mech is next to his cap, and unless he needs to build an artillery like to be able to reliably clear that out. Because remember, I'm militaristic too. If he tries like attacking with a reg, a reg Tau, and he loses, I auto promote. 100% chance I promote in that case. So yeah, he doesn't have a good way to get rid of that Tau. When do I go for the crew? Yeah, like I've them activated. Yeah, like I did this thing where like I walk them there and I walk them back. I'm just consistently indecisive. I don't want to fuck this up. I think at this point I get maps from my sea, and it's like, okay, clearly our team's doing well. I thought at the time, at least. We didn't have maps of Halu, and our maps of Carlot were limited. One thing I neglected in this game was my map awareness was pretty bad. I should probably like take some time to look at what Ironclad's doing and what Vivid's doing, etc. Probably ask, like, hey, do you guys have units near Halu? Has he been keeping you busy? Should I be worried of him attacking me? I was felt a bit too busy for that, but that's the kind of thing you should be doing in your games. Wait, is there iron in Osaka? Because he can do samurai if he has iron. Be funny if he killed my Akeshik with a samurai. Medieval combat, but it's very consequential because it would give him a golden age, right? So I think I can't do one per turn special. Can I do one per turn special forces? Maybe I can't. With the golden age, I probably should be able to do it because I have the factory now, right? Yeah. Oh, he does have iron. Maybe he can do Sams. The range on Sam is very low in future. It's just 2, in modern it's 3. So it's very easy to like play around them, and he's got a position centrally where I can't really bomb any of his core tiles, but I can still bomb that random oil tile. I mean, at this point, I'm probably going to kill him, and like probably want that rail for myself, but whatever. Sorry, not wherever. It's a small mistake, obviously, but it allows me to talk about the principle, right? Great, I just leave a pre-build on my cap. And I think at this moment I realized I could have done like an out of war for it, but it would have been a lot of it wouldn't have even saved me that many shield. Maybe I could get it a turn sooner. I wanted the nuke plant. Yeah, at this point I have him railed. I think Almeric with the Golden Age is doing cruise per 2, which is absolutely insane. Okay, I have no clue what happened here. Check this out, right? I check, okay. When I move on to here, that the nuke plant finishes. Oh, maybe, I didn't do the fucking underrush on the reload. That's what it was. Yeah, so the game dropped. I go here. I do B wait, B wait, B wait, B wait. I make sure everything else is moved. So before he can't even reinforce. If you use the wait key, that works. And we'll skip to the reload. Okay, that reload's done. It took forever. I disbanded my cruises because I lost them in the reload. Here, I'll show myself. I might as well show myself being honest, I guess. Disband all 3, even though it's painfully slow to do. I only think I needed 2 to kill him there, but I would have the 3rd would have gone off because I buffered the moves. Yeah, Ironclad does that trick a lot with the weight. So I draft here. He's like, oh, I drafted last time. I don't want to not do that. That was an accident too. I just was trying to click change production. Instead, I clicked draft. I don't need a draft here. I'm fine for units. But I forget to do the underrush, so the nuke plant doesn't finish. Again, fucked up. Okay, I'm doing a lot of workers here because I've got new fresh rails, and rails are you benefit insanely from a bunch of workers. Like the utility of a single worker compared to like anything else you could produce out of your city, the benefits from building a worker are absolutely insane. Now at this point I think I have 7 cruise missiles here, and then I disbanded 3, so I got 4 left. I don't really have much to do with them. Boats are very slow in future. 4 moves on a galleon. I'm not seafaring, right? So, and I'd be doing it blind. So I'm just gonna play to scale here. I could like try to cruise boat somebody, but it's late. Like they could just have a submarine, and like there could be a submarine 1 tile south of my cap. Here, like you see I look there and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Because I had checked before the reload, but it was the lack of the underrush. I guess I save a little gold, but yeah, like with the nuke plant and the golden age, I just do like 1 per turn battleship out of my cap. I get like 100 shields per turn there, like if I micro it right. So losing that is losing 100 shields there for some change is not a good deal. Not drafting mechs anymore because I gave the oil back to Bonehead. At this point, I look up at Carla, and he's actually grown quite a bit. He seemed to be pretty small first time I looked, but now he's scaling. So we've got like a battle ahead of us. Yeah, do Aqueduct. I know what I'm thinking with the Aqueduct. Yeah, it was kind of sucked that both of these cities ended up off river. With Kazan, I faced that decision early, where it's like, I felt like my growth is going to be insane here. It doesn't matter, like, Aqueduct is so far in the future, and the horse is right now. If I go off the river, I can get the horse, and that gives me the faster workers, and still an awesome idea. Definitely the right call, but yeah, catches up to you. Like, it doesn't catch up to you, sorry. It pays itself off, right? But there's a downside later on in this case. So he got Manhattan Project. I actually didn't see that pop up. I right-click in Almeric at some point. I only colonied the uranium for the for SDI. Yeah, and I see the tactical nuke there, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? It might have been Almeric. It might not have been Tabriz. But at some point, I'm like, wait, how long have they had Manhattan for? Nobody says anything in chat, actually. Maybe it's because of the size of the screen or something, but I'm like, holy shit, I need to do SDI. So I start queuing it up my cap. Just finished my nuke plant. I got my golden age. So that golden age, like, that SDI takes like 1 or 2 or 3 more turns, if not for the golden age. Right? So that golden age saved my ass here. Because they're going Hatton. They're going for nukes. This is very early Hatton, turn 38. Yeah, so you need, and it's just 3 SAM missile batteries you need here. I disband the artillery. Like, what am I going to need the artillery for here? I could even disband a cruise missile, honestly. But yeah, the thing a lot of people don't like nukes. I love nukes. I love how Hatton is in future and the way it works. Because it just turns the game on its head, right? Everything you thought mattered no longer matters. You got like an airbase with 1 million paratroopers, 1 million bombers. Guess what? Remember what I was saying about how you can't bombard units in air units and air bases? Nukes are the only thing that can do it. If you kill the airbase with the nuke, it will destroy destroys all the planes inside too. So yeah, that one didn't finish. I don't know what happened there, but I was like, okay, I probably wasn't going to get SDI in 2 anyway. Yeah, I wanted bank, I wanted stock exchange, I wanted hospital. That was my plans out of my cap, but I guess I just need to do SDI. I probably could have done the Galleon a turn sooner. I don't know what happened there. But oh yeah, I didn't have any explorers around, so I was like, at least I'll have an explorer in there. So, this is how it works in future. If someone SDI, right, when you nuke, there's a 9-tile hit zone around the tile that you nuked. So if you put a unit in that hit zone, it counts as you having SDI there. SDI will protect your units, but the game obviously doesn't know that your allies are your allies. So if you put your units in your allies' land, you can use that to, in fact, give them your SDI. And if you both have SDI, you can actually get double SDI if they're nuking a zone that contains both of your units. Yeah, I just put my king there to be safe in case he's like inspecting my cities. And I get SDI next turn. Great, so I load this up. I'm going to do 2 Taus. It's better to do Explorers. Weirdly, even though Explorers are non-combat units, they still are affected by... I think do they get destroyed by nukes? I'm not sure. But regardless, if you have an Explorer on the tile, it gives you the SDI effect. And Explorers are very good because they can't be bombed out, right? If I put a Tau next to Bonehead City, as SDI, and if Halu knows that I'm doing that, he could like send like a subcruise with his nukes, and then he could subcruise out my unit, and then he could nuke my ally without me being able to SDI, because my unit is dead from the subcruise. So for that reason, explorers are better. Also, they have more movement. You can reposition them as you need, right? Like if he nukes Kyiv and the nuke gets through the SDI, because it's only a 75% chance, then oh, I'd just lose the explorer in that case, I guess. But for whatever reason, if I need to reposition the explorer, I can do that with the explorer. They're also just cheaper, I guess. IC has lost a city. He's keeping them busy. Vivid's on one city. He's not even... no, he is coastal. He's got that oil city on the little island there that you can barely see. Yeah, I still get SDI next turn. I mapped this out. I was 100% sure of it. Yeah, so just in case I need to take the king home, I built the road there on the tile with I'm hiding the king. So doing this is dangerous if the enemy has carriers, because you can use the recon from the carriers to spot your king. But I was guessing that they were going probably more for spies than for carriers. Right, if there's a carrier... I guess Carlock could send a carrier down. It's a bit of a weird strat. If the team play is to go for nukes. Railing my res so the res doesn't cut. I probably should hook spare res. I'm not even really starting to do that. Like you see me with that. I'm actually pre-roading so that the nuke can get on a little further on the Aegis there. But I should be roading spare res because my team needs stuff. I've not been a great team player. I'm just Future is just a hyperscaling mod, right? Being strong makes you so much... The things that make you stronger makes you so much stronger. And these things just snowball and compound all on top of each other that it's best playing towards one player with all the resources of your team. So that means all the gold, all the attention, all the... all the physical, the actual resources, the oil, the aluminum, etc. But at this point, I can probably get away with it. So I plant the city. Great. Take a tactical nuke, put it on the boat, and I'm actually going for Magellan's here in Cracker. And I believe, yeah, so Magellan's, it's just such a stupidly good wonder. That's one of the reasons, yeah, I talked about a few of the different reasons for why I wanted to plant coastal. Even though the city's barely coastal, it's like the tip of the little bay. But this is one of the benefits that you can build Magellan's Voyage in your cap. The other would, when I use the battleship pre-build for the factory, you can't do that if you're not coastal. There's no big ticket items that give you the wartime bonus like the battleship does. Closest would be stealth fighter, I believe, if you have aluminum and oil. All the other, like stealth bomber, you don't get the wartime bonus. Like you can build it when you're in wartime, but you don't get the bonus shields towards it because it's, yeah. So here I realized, wait, I can just do another nuke. I believe I bought the previous one. Yeah, but this one I can just wait out on in Almeric. Oh, where did I do that other nuke? I don't remember. But I've got no gold in my treasury, so that's probably what it is. So working towards that oil. So slow. So hooking the right, like you see, like all at the same time, and then my military plans get stolen. So whatever other plans I had for the turn, like moving this fucking Aegis cruiser, I guess I just barely move it. So the entire turn has to be spent doing King Dance. So there's 0 movement points, and like in Civ 4, it costs that you can road moves 3 tiles, right? And then railroad is 10 tiles. In Civ 3, it's infinite. It is literally infinite. So he has stolen my plans. He can see where my king is. So my king has to constantly be in different places throughout this whole turn. Until the military expands plans expire, I have to be constantly running around my empire, trying to dodge his nuke. Because I thought he was doing ICBMs. It turned out only to be tactical nukes, and he had a few different nuke subs position, maybe. But yeah, like if I stay in one place, he can just nuke the city, and my king might die. So SDI, 75% chance to intercept, right? But if he catches the king, if I just leave the king in one spot, that's a 25% chance that I die. But if instead I move the king around, he has to kind of predict what city I'm going to be in. So based on that, yeah, I ended up intercepting, but I'm confident I would have outran him. Yeah. So he would have had to both predict the city that I'm going to be in and then get through the SDI too. So I couldn't do my worker moves for the turn. I moved the nuke Aegis already, which was nice. Oh, and he nuked again, and I also got through the SDI. I don't know if he saw where I was. Maybe he saw where my king was end of turn. Where did I move the king into Kazan? Yeah, I think I did move the king into Kazan. I was wondering about that. I was like, shit, let's like maybe that's the logical place for it to be, because there's this weird psychology thing with where you put your king. One thing is when you're king dancing, good tip, do not run your king through a cap, at least not very often. So if someone else is king dancing on me, what I'll just do is I will just wait till I think their king might be about to go to their cap, and then I'll nuke their cap. Because then, well, maybe I don't get the king, but I could get the king, and at least I get their cap, right? If you take a guess and the city you guess on is, I don't know, like a crappy city like the one in the northeast there, if the king's not there, Darshan, yeah, if the king's not, or Darhan, if the king's not there, you basically do not benefit at all. But if you nuke their cap, at least you nuke their cap, right? It's a good thing to do. So I got this Aegis sneaking up. It's end of turn. I didn't want him seeing me with like some units that can attack. So I go here. City's empty, so there's no king there, but my idea is it's got the uranium there, so at least that will slow him down. It's a good city too, size 8. He built an aqueduct there, right? There's no fresh water. Yeah. They might not have known that we had uranium. Yeah, because they had just instantly GG'd. Okay, let's see the save checking. Yeah, so here's Bob doing Bob things. He had like a size 4 cap, like 30 turns into the game or something. I don't know the way he plays it. The 3 aqueducts here. It's like single player Civ 3 here. He passed a lot of, like, him and Bonehead were quite useful. They gave me out of wars when they needed. They passed res, they passed gold. So, and he said he put some pressure on Carlot, which is nice. Oh, and he got contact. Yeah, like I was not in a position to get contact with the IC. So at least he was playing good support, which is important. Now, Hallow is like all in here, right? Nothing but nuke subs and tactical nukes. I wonder if they just knew that they were going to do this. He's got a size 20 cap. I was not one for turning the... Oh, I remember that's how I got the nuke, the tactical nuke. I actually did it in one turn. Yeah, I just like disbanded a cruise missile or something like that, or a Tau, and then I underrushed it, and then I had the 90 shields to finish it out. He has 120 shields per turn here. Getting Adrianople, it's one of his coastal cities. I thought they had a second source of uranium, though. At the very least, like, I saw Carlot doing... Yeah, so these were his two nukes. Yeah, he fired this one start of turn. But I'd put it back in Kazan, so he couldn't reach. Yeah, I should have been careful with the king dance, right? Because the place where the king ends the turn, he might try again the next turn, even though he cannot technically see the king. But that could not reach my second city. So he doesn't have rails, so that's an advantage that I have. He can't king dance if I I could have just kind of like blind nuked there, I guess, if I just nuked into his land. But the thing is, if you nuke the city itself, you kill buildings. If you nuke the tile next to the city, let's say the tile between Almeric and Tabriz, that will destroy units in both cities, but it will not destroy the buildings in either of those cities. So if all you care about is units, you're trying to take cities like with foot units, then yes, nuking adjacent could be good. Or if the king is there, right, and it's just like barely in range, nuking adjacent is fine. But if you care about getting buildings, you go for the tile itself. Important pro tip there. All right, yeah, so that's it. GG, as I said in chat. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this VOD review. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. I'll see you guys next time.